Right now at 6, we're less than 24 hours from Election Day. We've got a rundown of what you need to know before heading to the polls. And everyone in Wisconsin will answer 2 referenda on the ballot about bail reform. If they pass, judges could consider past crimes when setting bail.
You're watching WKBT La Crosse. This is News 8 Now at 6.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us for News 8 Now at 6. I'm Ken Kozarowski. Wisconsin's spring election is coming up tomorrow, and as you prepare to head to the polls, here's some things to remember. Besides smaller municipal positions across the region, Northside La Crosse voters will decide 2 new Common Council members. Voters in the La Crosse School District will elect 4 new school board members from 8 candidates and vote on a $60 million operating referendum. We have a statewide advisory referendum on welfare, and La Crosse, Eau Claire, and Vernon counties have an advisory referendum on the state's current abortion ban. Those votes will not lead to any legal changes. Now, every state voter will decide on the Supreme Court race, as well as a binding referendum on bail reform. We also have several school district referenda across the viewing area. The La Crosse County Clerk has a major piece of advice when it comes to those referendum questions.
Do your research on the referendum questions ahead of time. They're long questions, so there's going to be a lot of reading at the polls. We feel that's probably what's going to back up the polls, if anything does, is just the time it's going to take voters to get through all the referendum questions.
If you're registered to vote, just bring an acceptable ID like your passport, driver's license, or student ID. In Wisconsin, you can register at your polling place. If you still need to register, you'll need to bring proof of residence, a photo ID, and your driver's license number if you have it. If you'd like to confirm what's on your ballot, you can check myvote.wi.gov. Now, there's 2 questions on the ballot tomorrow that could change the Wisconsin state constitution. News 8 Now's Dua Israr explains how voters could change the way that bail is set. Good evening to you, Dua. Well, that's not Dua Israr, that's me. Let's see if we can get Dua Israr over here.
You were looking a little different, Dua. Did you get a haircut? Ken, the amendments would allow judges to take previous crimes into consideration when setting bail. La Crosse's district attorney Tim Grinke says while that's a small step towards bail reform, it's not enough. When voters head to the polls, they'll be voting for more than just candidates.
This is a constitutional amendment in Wisconsin. It's a lot tougher to change the wording than it is that you would normally just change with a statute.
Currently, the state constitution allows judges to consider how likely the defendant is to appear in court and protect community members from serious bodily harm. The First Amendment would change the Constitution to say serious harm. The second would allow judges to consider things like prior convictions for a violent crime when setting bail.
Well, right now the judges are supposed to only set a cash bond if someone's a risk to not appear in the future. This would change that. So judges could look at the seriousness of the crime or the risk to the public and impose a higher cash bond.
Why is this amendment on your ballot? The proposal has passed in the 2 required successive legislature sessions. The Darrell Brooks case brought even more attention.
What happened in Waukesha was a wake-up call.
Brooks had been released on a $1,000 bail 5 days before he drove an SUV through Waukesha's Christmas parade in late 2021.
I think people get confused by what bail is for and frustrated when people are out when they commit very dangerous crimes.
La Crosse County District Attorney Tim Grinke says while the amendments are a step towards bail reform, there needs to be more.
It makes sense that you should consider dangerousness, but what doesn't make sense is to use some amount of cash attached to that.
Critics of the amendment say this will affect people with lower incomes, something Grinke agrees with.
The idea that some people can post bond and get out and others can't just because they don't have money doesn't seem fair.
Currently, there is no definition for what serious harm means. The legislature has passed a bill for that definition, but Governor Tony Evers has not signed it into law. If these constitutional amendments pass and Evers vetoes that bill, judges will be able to pick and choose what's considered as serious harm. Ken?
All right, thanks very much, Dua. That bill defines over 100 offenses that would qualify as harm. The full list has not been released, but includes a broad range of offenses such as homicide, sexual assault, carjacking, and mail fraud. Well, Wisconsin's Supreme Court race is already the most expensive court race in U.S. history, and as of today, spending topped $42 million. That is triple the previous record nationwide for a court race, beating out the $15 million spent back in 2004 in Illinois. The Wisconsin Democracy Campaign reported that $23.3 million have been spent by Milwaukee County Circuit Judge Janet Protasewicz. Former State Supreme Court Justice Dan Kelly and his supporters have spent $17.6 million. The winner in tomorrow's race will determine the majority control of the Supreme Court and serve a 10-year term. Dan Kelly made a visit to French Island today on his last day of a statewide campaign tour. He spoke to voters about his aim to protect rights and freedoms as they're written in the state constitution. Kelly's last 2 stops on the tour are Janesville and Waukesha. Busy day indeed. La Crosse's MTU will have free rides for everyone on Election Day, but there are some changes to routes. Beginning tomorrow, MTU bus stops from East Ave and La Crosse Street to Pine Street and Campbell Road will be closed. Both Route 4 buses will use La Crosse Street to 22nd Street and 22nd Street to Campbell Road routes. Temporary bus stops will be set up at the corners of East Ave and La Crosse Street and La Crosse Street and Hillview Ave. New parking prices went into effect today. From now on, people parking in ramps will have to pay $1 for the first hour and $1 an hour for every hour thereafter. There is an $8 maximum. The Riverside ramp will stay free, though. Overnight hours and weekend hours will also remain free to park. Time to switch it up and talk some weather with Chief Meteorologist Bill Grahl.
Well, yesterday we had the warmest day so far this year, 65 degrees. Not quite that warm today, but we still briefly managed 60. I can update that high in the Cross of 58 to a 60-degree mark. A little cooler to the north. 47 in Eau Claire, but as you can see there, most spots saw highs in the mid to upper 50s. Kind of a mix of clouds and sun through the day. More clouds down to the south where there's even some light rain showers. Now, first things first, tomorrow and Wednesday I've got alert days. First of all, tomorrow, severe weather threat, primarily south, and that would be later in the day and into tomorrow night, and then very windy region-wide on Wednesday, 25 to 45, maybe even 50-mile-per-hour gusts in those wind-prone open areas of southeastern Minnesota and northeastern Iowa. So here's the radar for tonight. Just some light showers or sprinkles. A lot of that that you see on radar not reaching the ground, but a few light showers or sprinkles in southern portions of the viewing area over the next couple of hours. Otherwise, temperatures in the low to mid 50s, cooler 40s though to the north and west, and we'll see those mostly cloudy conditions overnight. Again, those evening showers to the south, lows in the Cross around 38 degrees. I'll talk more about that severe threat later tomorrow, and also the windy conditions setting up for Wednesday with my 8-day forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Bill, thanks very much. Back on the news side of things this evening, the Winona Police Department is asking for the public's help to find a missing woman. According to police, 26-year-old Madeline Kingsbury didn't show up to work on Friday morning. Calls and texts from friends and family also went unanswered. Police say her car, a dark blue Chrysler minivan, is also missing. Investigators believe they spotted a van matching the description going from Winona to eastern Fillmore County on Friday. Winona police are asking people living in Fillmore County to check their security cameras and land for anything suspicious. Kingsbury is 5 feet 4 inches tall. Anyone with information is asked to call the Winona Police Department. We've got more info on our website. An Arcadia man is in custody after allegedly threatening people with a pistol. The Trempealeau County Sheriff's Office says callers reported a drunk man pointing a gun at people in the city of Blair on Saturday night. He had allegedly pointed a pistol at several people, including kids, and made threats. The man left before deputies arrived. Authorities arrested 59-year-old Douglas Stegerwald of Arcadia the following day for 5 counts of recklessly endangering safety. Local governments will be allowed to impound repeat reckless drivers' cars, thanks to a bill signed by Governor Evers today. The Republican-authored measure is part of a push to crack down on reckless driving. The bill allows counties and municipalities to pass ordinances allowing police to take reckless drivers' vehicles if the driver has a prior reckless driving citation and hasn't paid the forfeiture. Republicans are pushing another bill that would double fines and forfeitures and nearly double prison time for reckless driving that causes great bodily harm. This is the first bill Evers has signed into law since the legislative session began. After the break, Minnesota gets a visit from the president. President Biden stops at a manufacturing plant to highlight accomplishments ahead of a potential re-election campaign announcement.
At Stanton Optical, independent eye doctors are available for eye exams whenever you need one. You should have seen me before I got mine. You're so quiet. Are you mad at me? Book your free same-day eye exam at Stanton Optical today.
It's time for more fun moments at Finati's.
Okay, 2 Easter baskets, chocolate Easter bunnies, a dozen cream-filled eggs, jelly bellies, and gummy kebabs.
Excellent. It looks like you guys are in for a fun Easter.
Now I just have to make sure nobody sneaks any before we celebrate.
Too true. Hi, Adam.
Hi, Lori. I need to get a few things, but don't tell Amanda I was here.
You didn't.
No. I just need a few more things.
Brought to you locally by Finati's Nut and Chocolate Shop in downtown La Crosse.
On abortion rights, do you want extremist Dan Kelly holding the gavel? Kelly wants abortion banned even in cases of rape, incest, and the health of the mother. He'll uphold the 1849 criminal abortion law that allows doctors and nurses to be jailed for performing abortions. And he'll strip women of their freedom to make their own decision on abortion. So don't give Dan Kelly a gavel with your vote. He's just too extreme.
Okay, I think we're all aware that most cell companies only give you the lowest price when you sign up for multiple lines.
What? Multiple lines?
Hello? Yeah, 1 sec. But US Cellular gives you just one line for $29.99 with unlimited data.
Just one line with unlimited data.
So you don't have to get more lines than you need.
No, you hang up.
Are you even listening, guy who never looks up from his phone?
Oh, never me, I just say it.
Okay, so no, you're not listening.
Get one line for $29.99, plus every plan is price protected. US Cellular, built for us.
Goodwill starts with you every time you shop and donate. Your support opens the door to new opportunities and creates possibilities for people with barriers to employment. When you shop Goodwill, you'll find home decor, clothing that fits your unique style, and other one-of-a-kind treasures. You'll also keep items out of the landfill, all while supporting job training, financial coaching, and more. When you shop at and donate to Goodwill, you open doors to possibilities for neighbors in your community. Goodwill starts with you.
Stanton Optical is the best value in eye care. We did the math, people. For $79, you get all this. That costs over $400 at LensCrafters, over $200 at Walmart, and over $150 at America's Best. When it comes to value, Stanton Optical is the top bird.
President Biden visited Minnesota today to tour an engine and alternative power factory. Biden spoke at the Cummins Power facility. This is part of his Investing in America tour, an effort to highlight his legislative accomplishments ahead of a 2024 campaign announcement. The company he visited makes parts for electric vehicles. Speaking on the economy, Biden said he wants more products made in America.
Before the pandemic, supply chain wasn't something most Americans spent much time thinking about. But today, after delays for parts and products, everyone knows why supply chains are so important. Instead of relying on equipment made overseas in places like China, and supply chains will be again made in America. They'll begin in America.
Biden also made remarks on his economic agenda in clean energy. Vice President Kamala Harris also made a stop to a plant in Georgia to highlight clean energy. She visited a solar panel plant there. Still ahead, there is help for those struggling to pay those winter heating bills. Xcel Energy partnering up with the Salvation Army to offer up to $1,000 to those needing that assistance.
And I'm Chief Meteorologist Bill Grahl. Another potent storm system, much like last Friday. And in fact, look at the severe weather threat tomorrow. Looks eerily similar to how it did on Friday, and we're kind of on the northern fringe of that. I'll let you know how it's going to impact our weather with my 8-day forecast up next.
She locked him in his room, starved her son to death. The 16-year-old boy weighed only 42 pounds when he died. She could have got 25 years, but she got lucky. Judge Janet Protasewicz set her free. No time in prison. He strangled and raped his 79-year-old aunt. He faced 25 years, but he got lucky too. Protasewicz let him off with only 5. Tell Judge Protasewicz this is not justice. Stop protecting criminals.
To everyone who believes in tradition, come enjoy a few of ours from Wisconsin.
People in Wisconsin love a good fish fry.
Really love. And we love sharing it with guests everywhere.
At Culver's, we still batter our North Atlantic cod by hand to order.
And we cook it to a crispy, golden perfection just for you.
For you.
For you. So it's crispy outside, flaky inside. Let us take care of you.
With some homegrown traditions we were raised on.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
At Bright Star Care, we are looking for kind, passionate, reliable individuals who will go above and beyond for our clients. We truly do feel like we're the best provider in town. We're going above and beyond every single day. There's stressful days, times, but we're all in it for the right reasons, and we always do the right thing. We are currently looking for caregivers, CNAs, LPNs, and RNs.
Don't settle for overpriced, low-quality vinyl windows.
Our StarMark composite window, available exclusively at Clear Choice Window and Home Solutions, is 2,000% more airtight, 40% more energy efficient, and 12 times stronger than vinyl windows.
And at a price less than what many companies charge for lower quality vinyl windows. Receive a free triple pane upgrade on select windows and 24 months interest-free financing.
Two candidates for Supreme Court, two very different beliefs. Judge Janet Protasewicz, she believes women should have the freedom to make their own decisions on abortion. Extremist Dan Kelly, he supports the 1849 law that takes away women's rights and criminalizes abortion, even in cases of rape, incest, and health of the mother. So who represents you? An extremist or a common sense judge? Vote by April 4th.
Thank you for watching News 8 Now. Expect more.
Xcel Energy customers struggling to pay for heat and energy can now get a helping hand from both Xcel and the La Crosse County Salvation Army. The partnership between the two has created Heat Share, an extension of sorts with Xcel's Home Energy Assistance Program. Families in need can apply for a one-time bill assistance of up to $1,000 between now and October 1st of this year. The program is on a first-come, first-served basis, so Salvation Army officials say it's better to act sooner.
The program runs until funds are exhausted. Each family can request up to $1,000 of aid. To be approved for the aid, they would need to bring in their current Xcel Energy bill, their disconnect notice, proof of residency, and proof of income.
Xcel customers in La Crosse County needing help should call Salvation Army for an appointment. Other Xcel customers help fund this program through their own donations. We'll have a link with eligibility criteria and more info on news8000.com. In the meantime, it's time to switch things up and toss it over to Bill Grahl for a look at our weather.
Well, tracking another potent storm system, which looks eerily similar to the setup on Friday of this past week. Now, before we get to that, quick check of the almanac for today. 60 was the high, 39 the low. So a little bit of a nice rebound after that cool start to 6 degrees above the average high of 54. 80 and 10 are the records for today, and no rain or snow in the La Crosse area. 55 degrees, a mostly cloudy sky, northwesterly wind at 10, and the Mississippi rising 7.90 feet. And this process will kind of ramp up because of the fact that we're starting to melt that snow up to the north. With overnight lows not dropping below freezing, that snowpack doesn't refreeze, and that really speeds the snowmelt process up. 46 degrees for you folks in Eau Claire. The Chippewa River is running higher as well. It's starting to fall just a little bit right now, 766.0. So temperatures, you can tell there's a warm front sitting down to our south, 70s to around 80 degrees to the south of it, 30s, 40s, 50s to the north of it. And that warm front is going to be key in the severe weather threat around here later tomorrow. More on that in just a moment. Low to mid 50s currently, cooler 40s to the north and west, where there's still a lot of snow on the ground, especially up towards the Twin Cities, and winds generally from the northwest at about 5 to 15 miles per hour. Just some light radar returns this evening. A lot of this not reaching the ground. Maybe some light showers or sprinkles in our far southern communities this evening, but that will move out. Otherwise, kind of a mostly cloudy night, but dry. Now, here's the next storm system I'm tracking and its associated warm front. Now, how far north this warm front lives, much like the setup last Friday, will be key on where the severe threat exists, generally near and south of the front. Right now, most of the forecast models laid up just to our south again, keeping the higher severe threats to our south. Again, very similar area to last Friday. Unfortunately, some of the spots that were hardest hit last Friday are under the gun again for tomorrow. Now, locally, we're on the far northern edge, just barely a level 1 risk in La Crosse County. Main concern our far southern communities, once again, with a level 2 risk from northeastern Iowa, Crawford, Richland, sliver of Vernon, Juneau, and Adams counties as well. Local timing a little bit later this time, 6 p.m. to midnight with some gusty winds and hail. Isolated tornado threat, but again, that'll mainly be closer to that warm front just to our south. But we'll have to see where that warm front sets up north and south as we head into the next 24 hours or so. So Sky Tracker showing a mostly cloudy sky tonight, but dry for most. Now, tomorrow morning, primarily dry, but some showers develop by lunchtime and into the afternoon, but the thunder activity pretty minimal until after the dinner hour. You can see some isolated storms starting to race northeast across the area. So again, that's when that severe threat would be, or at least stronger storm threat would be 6 p.m. to midnight is the way it's looking right now. And then dry primarily for Wednesday, maybe some isolated showers in the morning. The main story for Wednesday, very strong winds from the west and northwest, as high as 20, 40, even 50 miles per hour. So 38 tonight, Mostly cloudy, those evening showers to the south. Tomorrow, alert day, afternoon showers likely, those thunderstorm chances late in the day and into tomorrow night, some of which could be strong. We'll watch them for you. 49. Alert day on Wednesday because of the strong winds. 54 for the high. Cooler as that system moves through. 40s for highs on Thursday. But look at next weekend, back in the 60s. And with that will come at least slight chances for some rain showers, maybe even a thunder shower, especially on Sunday. But again, this active pattern continues. Another potent storm system for the country over the next 24 to 36 hours.
All right, brace yourselves, everyone. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Bill.
Okay.
Coming up next in sports, the Brewers have about as perfect a home opener as you can dream up. Plus, one high school freshman going from volleyball player to volleyball official. Her story next.
20th Annual Early Bird Home Show. Lowest prices of the year on 2023 projects. Only at the Board Store Home Improvements, 524 Copeland Avenue, La Crosse. Get started today.
We've done many, many renovations. We bought an old house and have made it into an up-to-date house. Whenever anything involves plumbing, the first call I make is to Maxwell White. Their technicians put together a great final product.
Oh no, I think I lost my debit card.
Okay, don't panic.
Don't panic, we're in a mall. Some stranger's probably tapping new shoes, tapping a washer-dryer combo, just tapping everything in sight.
It's okay, just tap your phone. With BMO, you can use your phone to freeze and unfreeze a lost card.
I can?
And you can always get a new card instantly at a BMO branch.
I got my tap back.
You ever seen someone this excited about a debit card before?
Oh yeah. Not this excited.
When a bank gives you instant peace of mind, that's the BMO effect.
Soon, you'll be headed to the polls to decide the future of our state. And here's my promise to you. I'll look at every case in a fair, impartial manner. And I'll follow the law and our Constitution. As a prosecutor and as a judge, I've put dangerous criminals in jail. I've fought to guard our rights and our freedom. That's exactly what I'll do on the Supreme Court. I'm Judge Janet Protasewicz, and I'm asking for your vote by April 4th.
Russell, what does this have to do with law?
Absolutely nothing.
Sick of running out of hot water? The professionals at Maxwell White are here to handle all of your water heater needs. Our licensed technicians can install, repair, or replace any type of water heater with same-day or next-day service. Call Maxwell White. Plumbing done right.
Covering all of the exciting action from your community, here's News 8 Now Sports with Kate Overton.
Well, being a referee is not an easy job in any sport, so when I heard that there was a freshman at Melrose Mindoro High School that was working towards becoming a WIA certified volleyball referee, I had to find out more. Paige Spores went out for volleyball for 1 year in 8th grade, and when she returned to the court the next year, she decided to become a referee. Melman volleyball coach David Waraxra told me he thought she was joking or that she wasn't going to go through with it. But to his surprise, Paige showed up and was ready to step in as an official. It's not a path that many high schoolers are willing to take, but Spores saw it as an opportunity to help.
We've always had like a shortage of officials, and these kids deserve to play. So, I mean, like, when our coach approached me, I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. And it just sounded really fun to me anyways.
Now, Spores isn't WIA certified yet, but she's helping with middle school spring tournaments at Melrose Mindoro. But the volleyball team is going to sponsor her and help make sure she gets through the process so she can get her certification. Coach Waraxra knows things like this don't happen often, and he wants to make sure that she has the support she needs.
Back when I was in high school, our volleyball coach and basketball coach encouraged us to become officials. And I make a point of telling my kids to do that. And I'm glad to actually see that we have someone who's embracing it and doing such a great job.
Well, if all goes to plan, Spores will get a restricted certification later this year, which means she'll be able to officiate anybody that's younger than she is. So if you're at a middle school volleyball game next fall, look out for Paige Spores. All right, we had the home opener at American Family Field as the Brewers hosted the Mets earlier this afternoon. Brewers going for their third straight win, 4th inning, already up 1, and Brian Anderson is going to touch them all. A deep shot to dead center field for the 2-run home run puts Milwaukee up 3. Now in the 5th, 2 on for Willy Adames, ground ball to short, and it just does get past the glove of the defense. Yelich rounds third. He comes in to score. It's now 4-0. Later in the inning, bases loaded for Bryce Turang, and how about this? Turang crushes this to deep left for a grand slam, his first career home run in the big leagues, and the rookie is taking over in Milwaukee. His parents were in the crowd. They were loving it. What a day for Turang. Brewers win 10-0. That's all for sports. We'll be right back.
Get the day's news in your inbox. Email newsletters from News 8 Now. Sign up today. Go to news8000.com/newsletters to get started.
Life's more rewarding at Blaine's Farm and Fleet, especially during our outdoor sale. Right now, get unbeatable deals on our quality selection of spring supplies for outdoor projects. Like $50 instant savings on this Craftsman trimmer and blower kit. Up to $20 off Scott's Turf Builder crabgrass preventer or weed and feed after sale and mail-in rebate. Large bags of Blaine's Golden Harvest bird food, just $14.99. And Blaine's Rewards members get $100 off these men's cat boots.
Find value at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Our officers risk their lives to protect your families.
But law enforcement's hands are tied when judges like Janet Protasiewicz refuse to hold dangerous criminals accountable.
Including a man who brutally raped a 13-year-old girl and posted a video of it to Facebook. Monsters like him belong in prison. Judge Janet disagrees.
Wisconsin sheriffs are supporting Dan Kelly for Supreme Court. He enforces the rule of law, not the rule of Janet.
Vote Daniel Kelly for Wisconsin Supreme Court.
There are so many things we take for granted. So many things. And along with them, sometimes we take the people who depend on them for their survival for granted too. The elderly, disabled, the veterans, people on limited and fixed incomes, or folks that lost jobs in sectors hardest hit during the pandemic. How can they survive with record increases in their basic cost of living? Some people just can't come back. And through no fault of their own, they're being left behind, struggling to keep their heat, water, and power on. If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our heat, water, and power providers are working together to keep you safely in your home. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
Hey, tomorrow for that severe threat to the south, alert day on Wednesday due to windy conditions.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you at 10.